Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some crazy news over here where we actually have an update on a pretty big story, and slash kind of just, I guess, introducing the story itself too as well, about someone who actually went and stole PlayStation 5 consoles from literally people that are suffering from an actual apartment fire, which is just ridiculous as is, and there's apparently now a new update too as well. This person's, I think, thankfully actually now been currently in custody and then also ongoing to jail. So we're gonna go talk about some kind of crazy news where some people are still in the midst of trying to go and steal and get as much consoles and I guess either sell it, scalp it, or just keep it themselves. And as well also have some pretty cool other gaming news too, as we're going to talk about over here with some kind of crazy news. So hope you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy. And as well, if you guys are bored, right after this video is all done, we have two little side things for it. Number one, the Twitch link down below, going to be checking out the Life of P brand new demo. If you guys are bored, a little bit of a late night video, but whatever. Gonna do a little bit of comfy streams and stuff like that. Because we also did check out the Summer Games Fest, which we made a video on earlier on today as well. If you guys missed that, go check that out after this video is all done. So kind of cool stuff. We have some updates and all that one, so hopefully you enjoy. Make sure you have the Amazon links down below, Twitter and Twitch down below. Subscribe if you guys are new, leave a like and your thoughts and comments. Let's go dive into the video itself. So we actually had a pretty big story slash update that's making its rounds again. So there basically was a huge thing where a man was arrested for stealing PlayStation 5 consoles in an ongoing basical fire, and it was from Rashid Duval, who was 43, and allegedly basically left this huge high rise to basically go in back into the house, like basically left it to come, then they came back into it to then go and try to go and jack and steal a bunch of consoles, and well, life has not been cool. So we had the story that kept up a little bit ago, but like the update apparently too, as well as also making its rounds. So we're going to talk about this, where in Silver Spring, police had charged a Rockville man with burglary after he allegedly took a gaming console from a unit in the Arrive apartment complex following a deadly fire. According to a release from the Montgomery County Department of Police, or the MCPD, 43-year-old Rashid Duval is accused of taking a PlayStation 5 console from one of the fire victims' apartments. Like, I've seen some kind of crazy stories, too, as well, when it comes to, well, everything. When it comes to people stealing people from, like, literal kids, stealing from people from Christmas, from churches, from a lot of crazy things, from charity, too, as well. And this was the first time I've seen from people who are literally suffering and having to deal with an actual fire. And now people are stealing their consoles. Like, people are insane. Like, obviously, the world, it's not like just a console thing or, like, a specific thing, or it just goes like, oh, they're going to scalp it or whatever. Man, people just suck sometimes. So the Montgomery County Fire Rescue personnel were called to the Arrive apartment complex on Georgia Avenue in Silver Spring after a fire sparked on February 18th, and the fire claimed even the life of a 25-year-old Melina Diaz. So someone, like, this is like how you guys kind of know this is like pretty deal. Someone unfortunately passed away. Never good news to see. No one likes to see this. But this also kind of makes the whole act of someone literally stealing a console and like trying their best to go and scheme the system even worse. It's like, obviously, if you're going to go and steal or take stuff or move stuff and like the mix of a strategy, like, you know, just like an emergency situation, you're a bad person. Like, if you are going to steal something from someone in the first place, you're kind of a bad person. But part two, the fact that like people were actually like getting like hurt and someone actually unfortunately passed away makes the whole situation worse, where it kind of goes to show that some person out there is trying their best to go and yoink something, and well, people are literally dying around them. Like, that just is rough. So Montgomery County Fire Rescue personnel were called over here on the February 18th, and sadly, like we said, mentioned, we lost the life of Melina Diaz. While crews were working to evacuate residents and extinguish the flames, firefighters had to force their way into several apartments by breaking locks and doors. On the day of the fire, officers were told that some people had noticed a person in the area acting suspiciously. That person was later identified as Duval. Duval allegedly left the high-rise, but later went back inside the building to hide a PlayStation 5, and upon returning to their units, one resident called police to report that their apartment had been burglarized and their PlayStation 5 was gone. So that's like this person, unironically, during the middle of an actual apartment complex fire that literally like hurt people, like badly, like you guys can tell this, went and still wanted to go upon all the chaos as people, like we have firefighters quite literally trying to go and save people's lives and getting people out of homes, making sure pets are not in there, like making sure there's like no babies or old people or whatever it might be stuck inside the apartments. This guy went in there and also burglarized and took things such as even a PlayStation console and probably other stuff too as well. Like not only a PlayStation, but it makes sense for the clickbait for my channel, whatever, you know, but it's like a horrible situation. So basically, people realize this. Like, if they had to go outside, they had to make sure they didn't die. They had to make sure they're not a part of a fire. And even then, with all this chaos and everything else, and like smoke and damage and everything else, they still had their console stolen. So investigators identified Duval as the suspect and obtained a search warrant for his car. That is where police say they located the stolen game console. Duvall was arrested on February 24th and taken to the Montgomery County Central Processing Unit, where he was charged with first-degree burglary and theft, $100 to $1,500, and he was being held without bond. It's not the first instance of reported death, though, from the victims of the Arrive apartment complex fire. 2 residents told WUSA 9 that had not only been displaced after the fire, but said that the building management broke a promise to keep their belongings safe. The couple who were home when the fire began claimed management assured them their belongings would be protected, only to find a severe lack of security and their items out in the open. We were told the units would be padlocked, guards on every floor to make sure no one broke in and stole our belongings, and that was apparently not even true. Other residents claim their belongings after being held hostage by management, who want them to sign a waiver agreeing not to sue, which obviously, if the whole fire happened, you probably still want to go and sue them. She said nobody was forcing us to sign the waiver. We could just not sign and lose all of our belongings, she said. We feel as if we're fighting an uphill battle we shouldn't have had to fight, plus with other people stealing stuff too as well. Now, this is kind of a crazy story too, because like I mentioned, I've seen people stealing from GameStops, general stores, and everything in between, and it just kind of makes me sad to go and see this overall. So, not cool, not vibey. We saw updates on this too as well. It's kind of like why we're covering this stuff too. We're kind of seeing this floating around on other various things. We even saw a picture of them too as well with the updates too on top of this at 3 o'clock, and then a chance to go and showcase up the person itself. So, all around, just not a cool vibe. We don't like it. Guys, don't steal, especially in the middle of like a tragedy like that. Not kind of cool. Now, we also had some pretty big internet leaks as well going on for Cyberpunk. So basically, Cyberpunk 2077's very, very famous DLC, which I want to play myself, is leaking online at $34.99. I think that's a fine price point depending on the amount of content, as well as hopefully it'll launch on with no issues. We've had a lot of issues just in general, obviously, with the initial base game, although it has been ironed out over time, but it's a little bit sad to see. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty DLC has linked online ahead of today's speculated Summer Games Fest announcement. So according to GOG, the Phantom Liberty DLC will be costing €30, which is basically $34, $35. Despite the listing only being up for a short while, pictures of the DLC have already begun circulating via Reddit itself. So we have now seen pretty much confirmation that we will be seeing Cyberpunk soon. Unfortunately, though, the leaking listing did not contain any details on what the expansion entails or when it will release. CD Projekt Red will be at today's Summer Fest, though, as well. So we're going to see some kind of cool stuff. We didn't have a chance to go and fully see anything cool on the actual mainstream, so maybe throughout the next few days or side announcement, unless I missed something. I don't think I did. But basically, if you guys are curious, it does seem like the Cyberpunk expansion is coming soon. So it's going to be coming up on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X versions too as well, and some folks are rumoring maybe as early as August. Now, I really want this myself so I could have a good excuse to, number one, run some mods on my Cyberpunk playthroughs, and number two, also have a good excuse to replay through Cyberpunk as well. They also had some new details as well for a 2077 sequel, codenamed Orion, were released, and per the report, it will be developed in the United States with a team of around 500 developers, while the Polish team will assist in some assets too as well. So I cannot wait to play this. We did see a really cool Witcher Netflix announcement too, so I'm just hyped up. I can't wait to play this myself. We also had a big thing too as well, as we mentioned as well, that we also did have the Persona 3 remake. We mentioned this in a prior video. I still don't want to show this for DMCA, but you guys do want to go and creep on Twitter. You guys totally can. Check it on out. Looks really cool. Can't wait to play the game, etc. Kind of other crazy news too is Friday the 13th game, although we do have the brand new Texas Chainsaw game. I actually played a decent bit up on Twitch. It's actually really good. Apparently will now be losing its licensing as of December 31st, 2023. So on that date, Friday the 13th, the game will not be available for sale, both for physical or digital. So if you guys do want to check out the game, it's not being updated as much though, but it's out there. But they will also have their servers hosting until as of 2024. So it's also kind of cool as well to go and like basically make the game really cheap, make the DLCs as well really, really cheap, and they're going to support the game as best as they can. And it kind of sucks because I think this was a really big licensing issue, even though there's a lot of big popular memes and everything else, and just, yeah, just kind of, sad for them. Now, on top of this too as well, we kept on saying too that Diablo itself has once again even more big dramas because people keep on calling out the actual microtransactions. We made a video on this as of yesterday if you guys want to creep on that for more details, but it does kind of seem like Diablo is on the struggle bus, where while it has been selling well, very good people addicted to it, I myself have really can't wait to play it, but it does kind of seem like the issues are, well, still piling on up. So I kind of understand why no one wants more microtransactions. I don't want it. As a gamer, I don't want it. So kind of give me your thoughts and comments and all this stuff down below. A little bit more of a chiller video. Just don't steal from people. Don't cause fires and be yourself. And of course, creeping all the other stuff either up on Twitch for us. Check it out Life of P or Life of Pi. And as well, if you guys want to check out the Summer Games Fest video from before, feel free to. We're going to keep ourselves on the groove over here. We have some cool updates too in the near future, so be on the lookout for that. And I appreciate y'all so much for watching. Make sure you guys just have a good rest of your days and nights. Love you guys.